Hello everyone, welcome back to Bow and Arrow Tarot and today's pick a card reading, who's thinking about you right now and why. So today we're going to take a look at someone you have a connection with, who this person is, why they're thinking about you, what the nature of the connection is right now, and what guidance Spirit has for you moving forward. Remember these messages, they are timeless and they find you whenever you're ready to receive them. So sit back, relax, ground yourself, and allow your intuition to draw you to the pile that calls to you the most. Pile number 1, pile number 2, or pile number 3. Now, if you need another moment, this is the perfect time to pause the video, and when you're ready, you can go straight to your reading in the timestamps below. So let's just get started with pile number 1. Welcome to pile number 1 for today's pick a card. Let's just get right into who is thinking about you, the Starborn. They come in with Ace of Swords and Two of Swords. Why are they thinking about you? Something has changed. Altered viewpoint. Five of Wands. Death energy, transformation coming in. What does Spirit have to say about it? There's an unveiling, along with Spirit of the Apple and Spirit of Fire. Wow. All right. We're going to get right into all of this. Don't forget, we will be pulling zodiac runes at the end of the reading, as well as getting into some extended material. But for right now, let's just jump right into it. Who is this person that's thinking about you? This person resonates with the Starborn. The Starborn are those who are walking their destined path. These are individuals who radiate with alignment. They almost always live their lives in alignment with the stars that they were born under. This is someone who generally does not deviate from their path, their destiny. They seem to be oftentimes someone who is extremely authentic in every kind of way. Starborn energy is very beautiful. A lot of times people who have this kind of energy are healers. These are people who oftentimes will be able to see past the usual veils that most people sight is covered with, right? They can pinpoint the truth of a scenario or situation, and they generally just live their lives in alignment with their destined path. Very spiritual energy, very authentic and intentional energy. Now, what else do they come in with? Ace of Swords and a Two of Swords. Beautiful, strong air energy. Some of you might be dealing with Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius in this connection. This person, Ace of Swords, Two of Swords, a whole new vision and ideas come into their head, right? So there's a whole new outlook that they have that's come in, and it poses a question in terms of choices. They're suddenly faced with a decision, and it may be a very difficult decision. Something about this newfound knowledge or information or outlook on a situation, specifically the situation or connection with you, has put them in a position where they now have to make a choice. And so this is probably the first most significant thing about this connection, is that they are intently trying to decide. Now let's go a little bit deeper and see, what is this choice, right? It may be a choice between you and another, or a choice of how to move forward. But something has definitely come in for this person. Some kind of information, truth, or clarity has come in. Probably it came through some kind of communication or conversation they may have had with someone else. Let's go a little bit deeper. Three of Pentacles and an Eight of Cups. Interesting. So absolutely, something recently in their lives has come to an end. Either they have walked away or someone has walked away from them. There's a relationship that they had most recently that just did not live up anymore. It didn't serve them anymore. And there's a feeling here that this ending of this connection or this relationship that no longer served them really caused them to throw themselves into their work and into their career, into whatever it is that they do, either for a living or whatever their talent is. Especially if they're an artist, they would have been thrown into their art, doing their art. Very difficult period, I would say. Eight of Cups is quite interesting. Oftentimes it can come in as a test, but something happened where there was a split. And, the end, that split really caused them to rethink, I would say, their connections and rethink the next stage of their lives, right? Now, why are they thinking about you? As we said, they have an altered view. Suddenly they see things differently than they are or were before, right? The past is reevaluated. It can be sometimes when information, especially when new information comes in or clarity comes in, you will look over past events in a relationship and kind of review those events with this newfound information. And it really can change your perspective and perhaps even your judgment on a particular issue or situation. In this case, it's the connection between the two of you. I will say it feels very much like this person was involved with someone that ended. It ended, and it ended because one or the other no longer felt that it was an even relationship or they were getting what they wanted out of it. In this case, it feels strongly to me as though this individual may indeed have been left by whomever they were with. And through the course of that splitting apart, that breaking of the relationship, a whole new sense of clarity has come in about the connection that they have with you, right? And especially when you're dealing with someone who walks, with that starborn energy, someone who really tries and oftentimes succeeds in staying on their path, being true to kind of who they are and who they were destined to be. It's quite interesting that now they have this whole new outlook on you. So first of all, let's take a look and see what is the nature of this connection here. Emperor energy, interesting. Let me get one more. And lovers, there it is. So the two of you had a love connection for sure. The two of you absolutely had a love connection. However, there was an emperor involved. It could be that the emperor may have been involved in this person's life. Emperor energy can be very sort of domineering, right? The emperor can be kind of come in and say, hey, the emperor is in charge, right? The emperor has authority. The emperor tells you what to do. It almost feels like an oppressive energy almost. Emperor is divine masculine energy, but it can feel very much like there was a love connection here between you and this person, and someone with that kind of over domineering energy kind of came in between this connection or may have sort of skewed this person's view of the connection or the importance of the connection. I'm going to give it to you straight. It feels like this person and you were in love at one point. However, someone came between the two of you, and now that someone has left, or that someone may have given them an ultimatum. It does feel very much like it could very well be as well that they left that emperor. In any case, the emperor feels like there's a little bit of shadow there, right? And it kind of sort of imposed his will on the Starborn. Now that it is over, now that the Eight of Cups has come in, and also some work has come in, right? I'm going to be a little bit more specific here. It almost feels as though this Emperor energy came into this person's life and may have said, may have convinced them that they weren't as good as they can be when they were with you as they can be if they are with the emperor. A really kind of classic case feeling here of somebody having come into this connection, interfered with this connection, and told this person that, hey, you could do so much better if you were with me instead of being with you. However, that fell apart, right? That has fallen apart. This connection has fallen apart. And through that separation, your Starborn was made aware of some new clarity, some new information, a whole new viewpoint has come in, and that is why they're thinking about you again. It's almost this feeling of like coming back or thinking back into the past of their connection that they had with you and saying, hang on a second, maybe I had it wrong. You know, maybe we split and we didn't split for the right reasons, or maybe this individual that they were connected with, this emperor, told me lies, could have sort of led me down a path that was not truthful, influenced my decisions. Sometimes Emperor energy in shadow, if you're dealing with this kind of authoritative figure, in shadow, the Emperor can be extremely destructive. Can really drive a wedge or come in between or just completely destroy the connective tissue in relationships to get what he wants. And that's what it feels like here. This Starborn, this person that you have a connection with, something about being involved with this emperor coming in their life really completely interfered with the connection that the two of you had. And now they've realized that they're no longer with whomever they were with. And now they have that decision. Five of Wands and Death comes in. There was a real battle here, a lot of competition. Five of Wands energy is very fiery, active competition. And then a death, right? And then the end, a full transformation. In tarot, we don't mean physical death, but the ending of something. So it may be very much that, I hear this kind of vibe of you and your Starborn were together, and this individual, there was an individual that came in and just caused so much damage with perhaps lies, gossip. They may have even strategically sort of set you guys up in a way to fail or to fall apart. Now that your Starborn and this connection with that Emperor in shadow has ended, they're starting to see or review what happened in the past and see it with a whole different view, an altered view, and maybe even see where the Emperor has kind of done their damage, right? The damage that the Emperor has done to the trust and the loyalty that ultimately ended in the separation and the death and the ending of any kind of connection that you had with each other. Very much a feeling of third party energy here. And now that this connection with this emperor, who may have, and indeed, I do even hear the emperor coming in and saying, you'd be so much better off with me. Now the emperor is gone. That relationship has fallen apart. And they realized that they were wrong. They were wrong to believe this person. They were wrong to sort of make their decisions based on that. And there's almost a feeling here of regret, a feeling of, wow, I didn't see before. I didn't understand before. I believed the wrong people. I believed lies. I just was not seeing with clarity. Now that the clarity is here, all they can do is think about you and think about this sort of missed opportunity, or just think about how things were derailed, right, as a result of following behind this Emperor energy. Emperor is oftentimes very wealthy. This person may have had a lot of money, may have had a lot of influence. In any case, this is someone from your past who made a mistake with you. They made a mistake trusting the wrong person. There was a lot of fights here that were probably instigated, I feel like, by this emperor in shadow. And now they were given a choice, Two of Swords. They were given a choice that was very difficult. Nevertheless, they chose to go with the emperor. And now I think there's a whole feeling of like, wow, now I can see what I did and maybe see why, where I went wrong. There's just a regret. There's such a feeling of regret here. Now, what does Spirit have to say there? The unveiling. It's a slow kind of peeling away that can happen sometimes when the truth comes out, or when, you find yourself months or even years later realizing that some of the decisions that were made based on inaccurate information or out and out lies, really, right? Conniving, deceptive information, deceptive means that have come in. I dare say I wonder if they may indeed even be wanting a second chance with you. Yeah, that could very well be. Other spirits that are at play here, spirit of the apple and spirit of fire, a test. There is test energy here, temptation, and yet spirit of fire, passion, creativity, a spark. This feels to me like a love relationship from the past that ended not because the two of you didn't love each other anymore or care for each other anymore, but this relationship, this lover's connection that you had with your starborn was sort of not only interfered with, but sort of adulterated in a way, besmirched, It just allowed, perhaps you and your starborn may have even allowed outside influences to really come into the relationship too much. In any case, for whatever reason, this person is now thinking about you because more than anything, they realize how different things truly are. They realize the truth and the clarity of how things really are. And I think they're seeing through some of the lies, perhaps, that they were fed by this emperor in shadow. Even stories that they may have been told about you that were wrong. And now they just see everything with clarity. They kind of see it all for what it really, really is. They may even now be realizing that they were manipulated. Right? And there is a feeling of regret here. Yeah, a deep, deep feeling of regret. So this is why this person is thinking about you. If you know who I'm talking about, if you resonate with this reading, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about because this person, this connection you had with them felt like a soulmate connection. You may even have been very surprised how easily, if it was easy, but how you were sort of driven apart by outside people. In any case, this person regrets it. Now, let's take a look at some zodiac energy. See what kind of zodiacs you might be dealing with. Taurus. Some of you are dealing with the Taurus. You may have Taurus in your chart. What else do we have? Some of you are dealing with a Virgo, more earth energy. Some of you are dealing with Gemini, air energy. And some of you are dealing with Libra, more air. So we have 2 air and 2 earth. I felt a lot of air energy over here with that swords. This is a really curious reading in a sense that I don't believe that this person necessarily has told you just yet how they feel. They may be quite embarrassed, actually. There's even a feeling of that. That they really have to own up to the fact that, wow, they got it so wrong. If you want to go a little bit deeper, I did pull the pile for the extended. You can go ahead and follow the link below, right next to your timestamp. But other than that, I'm going to say that this is your reading for pile number 1. If you resonate with it, claim it in the comments for the collective, give it a like. And otherwise, if you feel as though you are called to stay for pile number 2, let's get started. Welcome to pile number 2 for today's pick a card. Let's just jump right into who's thinking about you right now. We have the Poet coming in with Knight of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups. Nice romantic energy. Why are they thinking about you? They're stoked. They're stoked. Hermit energy comes in with that, as well as the World. What does Spirit have to say? Limits. We're going to talk about it. Spirit of the Woods and Spirit of the Crow. Wow. Right away, I feel romance in the air with this reading. Don't forget to stay until the end. We're going to pull the zodiac runes, and we will definitely be getting clarifiers to narrow down this message. Who is this person thinking about you right now? The Poet. The Poet is an artist. This is someone who is very artistic with their words, with their expression, very sensitive. They feel deeply. They may actually even be a writer or someone who works in a very creative communication field, whether it's writing or songwriting or some kind of communication, some ability to communicate amongst a broad range of people and scenarios. The one thing I love so much about the poet is that this is someone who's able, like any artist, to sort of see other people's experiences and express them or create something to express that, whether it's a work of art or a work of fiction or any kind of artistic expression. But also that romance comes to mind, that romantic sort of edge that we all associate with poetry, right? Now, along with that, we have Knight of Pentacles and Three of Cups. I love this. So this is someone you met while you were with friends. You may have been out. They may have introduced you to this individual. You may have met them at a party or some kind of celebration, some kind of coming together. There was a lot of love and joy around. But this person also strikes you as someone who is very dedicated to their craft, dedicated to their career. They have a bit of this kind of mission vibe to them, like they're on a mission, right? This is someone who also, they know what they want out of life. They know what they want to do. This person is also very dedicated. When they put their mind to something, they absolutely do it. More than anything, I feel such a sense of artistry coming from this person. And again, this Three of Cups really talks about being introduced to this individual through friends. Right away, I feel like this is someone new in your life, right? And when they met you, I would say that they probably were instantly attracted and excited by your energy and by being around you. And so right now they're thinking about you. So before we move on, let's go ahead and get some clarifying energy, because I'd really like to know a little bit more about the meeting here, right? This Three of Cups really seems to indicate that you may have met this person during some kind of gathering or get together or celebration. One of your friends may have introduced you to this person. So let's see a little bit more. Four of Pentacles is there and Six of Cups. Wow. This is really nice. Four of Pentacles is quite interesting. Four of Pentacles is a stability, somebody who really works hard on making sure they keep their financial stability, right? This is someone who is constantly on a project, right? This person, I would almost say for some of you, this person is probably in the middle of a grand project of some kind that they feel very strongly about, that they are constantly sort of working on. You may meet them at a gathering. As I say, I feel a lot of celebration around. They may say, oh, I've got to leave at a certain time because I have to go do this other part. I have to go do something or this activity that's part of a project I'm working on. I got to put some hours into it. Everything that they're doing, they're very dedicated to it, to sort of, I want to say, manifesting this goal that they have. And they're right now on the path of that. So they have this kind of energy, real industrious kind of energy about them. Six of Cups is there though. Right away, there's fun and excitement. There's a feeling that right away when the two of you met, there was probably, as I said, attraction, but also just a lot of fun with each other. You hit it off right away. That's the feeling I have here, that the two of you got along right away. And you may almost even feel as though you've kind of known each other a lot longer than you have. And that's the feeling that I get here. But at the same time, this individual, as I say right now, there's a very specific project, goal, objective on their mind that they're very busy with. And so this is going to come across. If you know who I'm talking about, if you're connecting with this reading right away, you're going to know this person because it's clear every day they're working on this specific goal to do with their art or with their career. And at the same time, you are meeting them through friends at events, right? And the two of you instantly hitting it off. Now, why are they thinking about you? Because they're stoked. They're very excited, right? They are kind of like, wow, this is almost a dream come true. It's this vibe that the two of you hit off, right? The two of you kind of hit it off. But this person, again, being such a romantic and being very sensitive, there's a feeling here that they get excited about being in love or they get excited about meeting someone that they're very attracted to. And I feel like as well, this is probably to do with the fact that they may not have met anyone for quite some time. Again, it goes back to this feeling that they've been very buried in their work. This energy of wanting to manifest this goal or complete this project that they're working on has really taken all of their attention. And so you're dealing with somebody who for quite some time has been hermited away. They probably have not really had a lot of time to socialize and meet people or even date or meet someone that they're interested in. They just haven't had that attention for it either. I don't think that they were looking for it, looking for someone to sort of be with because their work has really taken up a lot of their energy and focus and concentration. And so the two of you coming together is why, or the two of you meeting, is why they have such an excited feeling about you. Again, when you're dealing with somebody who resonates with poet energy, who's really an artist at heart, who's excited at heart, who has such a positive outlook, when they meet someone that they're attracted to, that they actually can relate to and have a good time with, it's very exciting. There's a bubbly energy there. And there's also an energy here of it almost being fated, almost being destiny. I think the two of you share a love of art, a love of poetry, a love of music. There's a certain kind of art in the world, or I want to say expression in the world that the two of you share that you really love. Knight of Swords is there. I pulled that out as well as another Knight of Pentacles. Wow. So we have Knight of Pentacles twice and a Knight of Swords. So this is a lot of communication here between the two of you, right? That Knight of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, when the two of you met, you had a lot of conversation. I almost imagine, the two of you meeting and then your friends are kind of like, where is so-and-so at? And they see the both of you in the corner talking, laughing, making plans. There's just this bubbliness, this excitement between the two of you, and this air, this beautiful air of communication between the two of you. And also, I think very quickly, this person, this poet, wants to make plans, right? This is the excitement, where the excitement comes from, their desire to sort of begin to make plans for the future with you. I love this energy. And they're thinking about you, right? This will probably be someone that you've met very recently. And it may surprise you how excited they are about being around you. I wouldn't be surprised if they're talking to their friends and mentioning you, mentioning meeting you, and being excited about making plans to meet you again. They're going to make an effort. Again, this is somebody who puts a lot of dedication into anything that they desire, right? Anything that they feel strongly about. And so the same will be with you. They will be putting a lot of energy into connecting with you, making sure that they have time for you, even making sure there is time for you next to this other objective and goal that they're manifesting. There is enough room for love in this person's life as well as their art. But they just haven't found the right person, I don't think, up until now, which is another reason why they're so excited, which is why they're stoked, right? And so Spirit says limits. This comes in when we want to take care in the beginning, especially in the beginning of a relationship, to be sort of like setting boundaries, right? Setting some limits that are natural, that are healthy, and then being open to a limitless sort of affair or engagement with someone, connection with someone. Limits come into play here because this level of excitement and desire to sort of be with you and maybe begin to even make plans for the future may be a little bit overwhelming for you. And it may indeed be you who kind of says, let's slow it down. Let's find out where the boundaries are here, right? Let's not go too fast too quickly. And so there's a limit kind of energy, a limiting kind of energy. You may even be a little bit overwhelmed by the attention, right? And maybe saying, hey, it's just a bit too much, right? Spirit of the Woods and Spirit of the Crow is here as well. Yeah, there is some voices here, some doubting voices. Spirit of the Woods, it's just kind of, oftentimes it's just, fear of the unknown. Hearing things where there aren't things, right? Voices, goblins, nightmares, and this is interesting to me because it's almost as if you're not really used to this much excitement or attention right away in the beginning. It may be a little bit daunting for you. This may also be sort of a bit of a trigger from any kind of past relationships that this connection is reminding you of. Take it as you will, how it applies to you. As well as we have Spirit of the Crow here. Again, messages, prophecy, and sometimes bad news. But I think the crow gets a bit of a bad rap, honestly. Crow is really about bringing in messages or that energy of making messages known to you from your angels, your ancestors, your spirit guide. You may be seeing your lucky number. You may be seeing angel numbers around, or you may be seeing your own totems or symbols suddenly popping up. These are all part of the Spirit of the Crow to kind of get those messages to you from the other side, either letting you know you're on the right track or letting you know whether or not you should adjust. So this is kind of an exciting kind of new connection that you have with someone, and this person is absolutely excited about it, more so than you even maybe realize. I really love it. Let's go ahead and pull out your zodiac rooms and see what kind of zodiac energy there is here. Pisces energies there, they may be resonating with that Piscean energy. Sagittarius, some of you have Sagittarius. Some of you have Leo, or you're dealing with a Leo, more fire, and some of you are dealing with a Cancer, more water. So Pisces and Cancer, your two waters, Sagittarius and Leo. Quite interesting. Now that may be signs in your natal chart or in your poet's natal chart. So I'm curious if you're resonating with this, if you've recently met an artist, a poet, a sensitive soul that just seems to be so excited every time they see you, sound off below, claim the reading, let the collective know about it. I love these kind of romantic sort of, moments that happen, right? Synchronicities. And I think you also enjoy this energy from this individual. But again, Spirit says at play here, there may be in the beginning limits. The idea of putting limits on things or maybe taking limits off of things. Take it as it comes to you. Now, if you want to take a look a little bit deeper in the extended, we're going to be taking a look at any energy that may be an obstacle or a benefit to this connection, as well as your animal spirits and more guidance from Spirit. So you can go to the link for that in the description or pinned at the comments to the top. And that will be it for pile number 2. I really hope it resonated for you and gave you something to think about as far as who this person is that's thinking about you right now and why. So if you feel called to stay with me for pile number 3, let's get started. Welcome to pile number 3 for today's pick a card. Who's thinking about you right now and why? And let's get right into who this person is. The King. Wow. Coming in with an Ace of Cups and the Five of Wands. Why are they thinking about you? They want to be dating you. Fool energy is there as well as the Magician. What does Spirit have to say? Uncertainty. Yes, indeed. Spirit of the Jester and Spirit of the Cat, talking about the huckster, the hustler, the trickster, the thief, and Spirit of the Cat, fanciful and independent. Wow, this is an interesting reading. King energy very rarely comes up for my pick a card love reading, so this will be interesting. Don't forget to stay to the end. We're going to pull out the zodiac runes from the zodiac bag, and we're going to be getting plenty of clarifiers. But for right now, let's get right into who is this person, the King. Well, the King, you know, is alpha, fire, the one in charge. Oftentimes we hope the benevolent one. The King has authority, the King has wisdom, the King has experience, right? The King is that divine sort of, I would say, yang energy, right? The King. Now, this archetype can be a little bit tricky, right? Because the King can be in shadow or can be benevolent. This archetype just resonates with a lot of power. This is someone who has authority for a real reason. They know, along with that comes the wisdom and the knowledge. With that authority, but also that drive and that fire to sort of stand in charge, be in charge, take the first step, make the decisions, right? And just command respect and attention. Now, of course, that can also become control. It can descend into shadow. It can also be quite benevolent. And in that case, wow, a king is a nice thing to come across as a connection, right? Ace of Cups, Five of Wands. Well, your king is in love. And yes, your king is also willing to fight for you. There's a lot of competition. There may have been some other people around you that are interested in you, that may be wanting to date you. But seeing as you're dealing with this kind of strong, fiery energy, right? Alpha energy, right? Commanding energy, they're going to win that battle. Right? There's no losing this battle, and certainly they will even maybe take the first step to engage that, right? So may have been some jockeying for position. You ever be around people or you're around a couple of people and there's a couple of people you're liking. In this case, you may be in a friend group or in a certain environment, a social setting, and you can see them kind of like, at each other a little bit, right? Competing to have your attention, right? We've all been there, regardless of whether you're dealing with male, female, whatever. And in your case, your king is coming in and taking that battle for sure. That's that Five of Wands energy. But let's see some more. Nine of Wands and a Four of Cups. Interesting. They may indeed have been in a space, your king. Nine of Wands, Four of Cups. They may have been in a space where they just weren't very interested, right? So there are other people indeed who may have approached this king, wanted to be in a relationship, connected with them, even just dating, as we say here, right? And the king is very much kind of like, I'm not interested. And yet at the same time, there is a feeling that this person has been searching for someone to date for quite some time, but being just unsatisfied, right? So unsatisfied with the people who have tried to make a connection with them, the king here, right? And yet at the same time, it isn't that they don't want love, but it's just that they have not found the right sort of connection. Here we have Ace of Cups. Love has come into the king's life. And so this is why all of a sudden there's this fire and desire to sort of definitely fight for it. What is it that they want? Why are they thinking about you? They want to be dating you. They will be hoping to date you, likely, right? They enjoy your company. They just want to see you. They want to see more of you. I want to know a little bit more about this connection. A king is such a strong character to come in. If you're resonating with the sound off, this could be someone who, as well, has an authority figure sort of position professionally. This person could be in charge of their own business, or, they're just kind of in their own space, and it's absolutely within their career or profession, this person commands respect. They're usually going to be someone who is in charge, quite high up, right? This is just, that kind of archetypal energy that if somebody resonates with the king, it's going to pervade their entire life. This person is also going to be quite dominant in their relationships as well. This is just part and parcel of being the king. But what is the connection here that we have? Full energy, wow, over full. So this is brand new. Yes, this person is brand new coming in. And it feels a little bit, I think you know who I'm talking about. And I think it's like, wow, this is new, right? This is new. You feel like you're kind of like taking a leap of faith with this person. This person probably resonates with such energy, right? This unusual. As I say, King has very rarely shown up for my pick a card love readings as a archetype for a person or a connection in the relationship. And so when you come across somebody like this who resonates like this, you feel it, right? Yeah, this is new for you, and it feels a bit like maybe taking a risk or jumping into the unknown, but I dare say you're here for it. So we have Fool, and we already had Fool here, but we also had the Magician. You know what you're doing, right? Remember, Magician energy is all about, knowing your capabilities, being confident in your capabilities, and just applying them, not second guessing yourself, right? The magician, oftentimes, people associate this energy with having talent and being able to get things done, but it's also that confidence, that I got this, I have everything I need. I know how to do what I need to do, right? And so I think that although there's a feeling here of wanting to kind of leap off a cliff and take a bit of a leap of faith here with this individual, you're being cautious, right? Let me get another one. This king, Ace of Cups is very strong. I'd like to get one. Let me get one more for that Ace of Cups. Two of Swords, there's your decision. Yeah. When you deal with a king, somebody who resonates with that, they also, you know, they see themselves in a certain light, right? And so they really have high expectations of who they want to be with. And so when a king comes into your life, right, when somebody who resonates with king energy, that strong, decisive energy, successful energy, abundant energy, and, certainly when king is exalted, when they take their time finding a love mate, right? They take their time engaging in connections. They have that kind of, aloofness and pride and dignity, and that's not a bad thing. And so you coming in has really made them want to think about this decision. Certainly the love is there, right? The love is there. Your king has met you. That's your Ace of Cups, but they're going to take their time. Or certainly it's more of a decision to make how they're going to go about it. Certainly, they are actively pursuing you. Again, you may be noticing a little bit of, competitive energy amongst other people in your life who are around you, right? While this person is trying to come in, but they are definitely thinking about you because they want to date you. They want to take it to the next step, but they're not going to be rushing in. All the readings today were very different. In this case, this person is not going to be rushing in. What does Spirit have to say? Yeah, uncertainty. There's a sense of uncertainty here because you're dealing with someone you have a type of person you haven't met before. And it's exhilarating. What flipped over? Stop it. I can't even. The Queen of Pentacles, a queen, right? Not the Empress, but a Queen. Queen of Pentacles is nice and strong energy. I love this, right? So you are definitely, you know, I'm going to say have a certain sense of authority and absolutely control and wisdom and experience in your own right. You yourself as a Queen of Pentacles are probably someone who also may have your own business or art or craft or something that you do that you make your own money from. You already have experience, but you definitely have a lot more sort of softness and empathy. You're probably someone that people go to for advice, right? You may have a lot of people who look up to you and feel really I want to say affectionate toward you and toward the energy that you give to them. The Queen of Pentacles is such a beautiful energy because she's the one who knows what it takes to work hard for something. She's come from nothing. So she's put her blood, sweat, and tears into this garden. So she really, truly understands the value, right? She's deeply emotionally connected to the value of the things that we work for and create. And so she is there, right? And Spirit has told me to pull her because this uncertainty here with this individual, I think you're going to give them a chance to date, but you're going to remain extremely grounded. Earth energy, very, very grounded, and very much to a certain degree in control with that magician. Spirit of the jester and spirit of the cat. Thief, trickster, hustler, spirit of the cat, fanciful, free, independent. I feel like that's more you, right? I wouldn't be surprised. There is a feeling sometimes there can be a possessive energy that comes in with king energy. And listen, it's all of that, right? It's the king. So, spirit of the cat, though, I think this is going to be a little bit of fun for you. It's definitely going to be a new experience. I say go for it. Fool coming in twice. I say take the leap of faith, but remain grounded and remember that there will be some uncertainty here. I think you may doubt this person's intentions at times. Their energy may be so different than, you know, something you've experienced before. Again, only because this kind of archetype in people is quite rare when they truly live up to being a king. I don't mean like a, you know, a wannabe king. We're talking about somebody who really lives up to that energy. So it's very rare to come across, and so you may indeed be doubtful. But take a leap of faith. I'm with you on that, right? There'll be conversations about it. All right, so let's go ahead and pull out the zodiac runes for this one and see what kind of zodiac signs you might be dealing with. Some of you are dealing with the Scorpio. I'm going to put that right there. Some of you are dealing with a Capricorn, that earth sign Capricorn, makes sense. Some of you are dealing with an Aries, and some of you are dealing with an Aquarius. All right. Wow. So we have, I think, all four elements, right? Water, earth, fire, and air. Scorpio, Capricorn, Aries, Aquarius. All right, this is the end of the reading. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper, I do take a look at what might be an obstacle, what might be benefiting this connection, and some more oracle energy in the extended right here. We have the pile ready, so you can follow the link next to the timestamp for this pile number 3 if you want to see me over there in the extended. But for right now, this is the end of today's pick a card. Who's thinking about you right now and why? I thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to leave a comment for the collective if you resonated with any of these readings. Hit the like button, sound off, and for right now, I will wish you love, life, and happiness, and hope to see you all right back here for Bow and Arrow Tarot's next pick a card love tarot reading. Bye-bye, everybody.